Greetings and welcome to PolyPid's second quarter 2025 conference call. At this time, participants are in a listen-only mode. As a reminder, this call is recorded, and I would now like to introduce your host for today's conference, Yehuda Liebler from Arts Capital Markets. Mr. Liebler, you may begin.
Thank you all for participating in PolyPid's second quarter 2025 earnings conference call. Joining me on the call today will be Dikla Czaczkes Akselbrad, Chief Executive Officer of PolyPid, Johnny Missalawin, PolyPid's Chief Financial Officer, and Ori Warshavsky, Chief Operating Officer, U.S. of PolyPid. Earlier today, PolyPid released its financial results for the 3 months ended June 30, 2025. A copy of the press release is available in the Investors section on the company's website, available at www.polypid.com. I'd like to remind you that on this call, management will make forward-looking statements within the meaning of the federal securities law. For example, management is making forward-looking statements when it discusses D-PLEX100's potential benefits, including its potential to address a significant unmet medical need and to substantially reduce the burden of surgical site infections, improve patient outcomes, and generate meaningful healthcare cost savings, the expected regulatory submissions and their timing, the aim of GLP-1 program and its potential to address significant unmet medical needs in the treatment of metabolic diseases, the company's expected cash runway, and the potential partnership opportunities for D-PLEX100. Forward-looking statements are subject to numerous risks and uncertainties, many of which are beyond the company's control, including the risks described from time to time in its SEC filings. The company's results may differ materially from these projections. These statements involve material risks and uncertainties that could cause actual results or events to materially differ. Accordingly, you should not place undue reliance on these statements. I encourage you to review the company's filings with the SEC, including, without limitation, the company's annual report on its Form 20-F, filed on February 26, 2025, which identifies specific factors that may cause actual results or events to differ materially from those described in the forward-looking statements. PolyPid disclaims any intention or obligation, except as required by law, to update or revise any financial projections or forward-looking statements, whether because of new information, future events, or otherwise. This conference call contains time-sensitive information and speaks only as of the live broadcast today, August 13, 2025. With the completion of those prepared remarks, it is my pleasure to turn the call over to Dikla Czaczkes Akselbrad, CEO of PolyPid. Dikla?
Thank you, Yehuda. On behalf of our team at PolyPid, I would like to welcome everyone to our second quarter 2025 earnings conference call. The second quarter of 2025 was truly transformational for PolyPid, marked by the successful results of our SHIELD II phase 3 trial, which demonstrated significant clinical benefits of D-PLEX100 in preventing surgical site infections, or SSI, in abdominal colorectal surgeries. As announced in June 2025, the study showed a statistically significant reduction of 38% with a p-value below 0.005 in the primary endpoint, which, as a reminder, is the combination of deep and superficial SSIs, all-cause mortality, and surgical reintervention. In addition, we demonstrated a robust 58% reduction in the rate of surgical site infections in patients treated with D-PLEX100 versus standard of care with a p-value below 0.005. Including a significant reduction in deep surgical site infection, with 5 cases of deep SSIs representing approximately 14% out of all SSIs in the standard of care arm versus 0 in D-PLEX100 arm, with a p-value below 0.05. Importantly, we also saw in the study a clear and statistically significant 62% reduction of patients with an asepsis score over 20. The asepsis score reflects the severity of the wound infection appearance and the clinical consequences of the infection. So D-PLEX100 not only markedly decreased the rate of superficial and deep SSIs, but even when SSIs occurred in the D-PLEX100 arm, they were less severe and caused less medical burden, such as prolonged hospitalization or use of IV antibiotics. These robust results validated our conviction in Diplex 100 potential to address a significant unmet medical need and have generated substantial interest from potential commercial partners. We are extremely encouraged by the enthusiastic reception from healthcare professionals, lead surgeons in different types of surgeries, as well as thought leaders in the field of surgical site infections. All recognize Diplex 100 potential to substantially reduce the burden of surgical site infections, improve patient outcomes, and generate meaningful healthcare cost savings. In addition, further analysis of the Phase 3 SHIELD II trial safety data revealed a good safety profile with no difference in serious treatment emergent adverse event between patients treated with Diplex 100 versus standards of care. This safety profile further supports Diplex 100 potential as a well-tolerated prophylactic treatment option for patients undergoing major abdominal surgeries. Following these positive Phase 3 data, we are on track with our new drug application or NDA preparation. Our next steps include a pre-NDA meeting with the FDA planned by the end of this year, leveraging our Fast Track and Breakthrough Therapy designation to facilitate regulatory review. We anticipate submitting the NDA to the FDA in early 2026 and marketing authorization application or MAA submission in Europe shortly thereafter. Shifting gears, we recently made significant progress on our GLP-1 program, which leverages the company's extensive long-term experience. This initiative aims to deliver approximately 60 days no-burst GLP-1 receptor agonist peptide for improved patient compliance and enhanced therapeutic outcomes in the rapidly growing weight loss and diabetes markets. We have formally unveiled this program early in the current quarter, and we believe it represents an exciting opportunity to expand our therapeutic footprint into the fast-growing metabolic disease market. Following the end of the quarter, yesterday, we announced the appointment of Dr. Nurit Kaiser-Sachs, MD, MBA, as Chief Medical Officer of the company, transitioning from a role on PolyPid's Board of Directors. Dr. Kaiser-Sachs brings extensive medical, R&D, and business development expertise to this executive position, strengthening the company's leadership team as it advances towards NDA submission and commercial preparations following the positive Phase 3 SHIELD II results. From a financial perspective, we have significantly strengthened our balance sheet through a successful warrant exercise inducement transaction, extending our cash runway well into 2026. With that, I will now turn the call over to Ori, our COO US, to provide more details on our commercial preparations and partnering efforts for Diplex 100. Ori?
Thank you, Dikla. Following the successful completion of the Phase 3 SHIELD II trial positive efficacy data, we have intensified our commercial preparation activities and partnership discussions. We believe that the positive Phase 3 results have validated the substantial market opportunity for Diplex 100. To reiterate, based on IQVIA data, we believe the total addressable market for Diplex 100 in the U.S. is just over 12 million total surgeries annually, with approximately 4.4 million of those being abdominal surgeries and an additional 2.1 million abdominal procedures, principally in gynecology and urology. The 58% reduction in SSI demonstrated in our Phase 3 trial is particularly significant when considering the substantial costs associated with SSI. As a reminder, SSIs are estimated to cost the U.S. healthcare system up to $10 billion annually, extend hospital length of stay by 9 to 7 days on average, and increase hospitalization costs by more than $20,000 per patient admission. Duplex 100's potential ability to significantly reduce these infection rates represent a compelling value proposition for healthcare systems, payers, and most importantly, for patients. With respect to our partnership strategy, we continue to believe that identifying a U.S. partner with a dedicated hospital-focused sales force and significant resources will enable Duplex 100 to maximize its sales potential in the U.S. Following the positive Phase 3 data announcement, we have seen increased interest from potential partners, and we are currently evaluating relevant opportunities. We will, of course, provide updates on these discussions as appropriate. For the European market, as we mentioned previously, we already have an exclusive licensing agreement in place with Advanced Pharma to commercialize Duplex 100 across European countries, and we are actively working together to plan and implement pre-launch activities to maximize Duplex 100's anticipated launch in Europe. And with that, I will now turn the call over to our CFO, Johnny, to review our financial results. Johnny?
Thank you, Ori. We are pleased to report our financial results for the second quarter of 2025, which reflect our continued investment in advancing our pipeline while maintaining fiscal discipline. Starting with our balance sheet, as of June 30th, 2025, the company had cash and cash equivalents of $17.4 million and short-term deposits of $12 million, for a total of $29.5 million. This represents a significant improvement from our cash position of $15.6 million as of December 31st, 2024. The increase was primarily driven by the successful warrant exercise inducement transaction that Dikla mentioned earlier. We expect that our current cash balance will be sufficient to fund operations well into 2026. Now turning to our income statement for the 3 months ended June 30, 2025, research and development expenses were $6.2 million compared to $4.8 million in the same period of 2024. The increase was primarily due to activities related to the completion of the SHIELD II Phase 3 trial and preparation for regulatory submissions. General and administrative expenses were $2.5 million compared to $1.1 million for the same period of 2024. The increase was primarily due to non-cash expenses related to performance-based options or PSUs, following the successful SHIELD II Phase 3 trial, which triggered the vesting of the PSUs. Marketing and business development expenses were $0.7 million compared to $0.3 million for the same period of 2024. For the second quarter of 2025, the company had a net loss of $10 million or 78 cents per share, compared to a net loss of $6.3 million or $1.25 per share in the second quarter of 2024. For the 6 months ended June 30th, 2025, R&D expenses were $12.3 million compared to $9.8 million for the same 6-month period of 2024. G&A expenses were $3.7 million compared to $2.1 million for the same period of 2024. Marketing and business development expenses were $1 million compared to $0.5 million for the same period of 2024. The company had a net loss of $18.2 million or $1.48 per share, compared to a net loss of $12.7 million or $2.62 per share in the 6-month period ended June 30, 2024. With that, we will now open the call to your questions. Operator?
Thank you. If you wish to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone and wait for your name to be announced. To withdraw your question, please press star 1 again. We will take our first question. The first question comes from the line of Chase Knickerbocker from Craig-Hallum. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Morning. Thanks for taking the questions. Maybe just on the NDA filing. So if I think about what is kind of left to be done between now and 1Q, can you kind of walk us through the larger items, and then particularly obviously on the CMC side, can you talk about your preparations as they continue progress on knockout products, et cetera, as it relates to preparing for that 1Q filing?
Sure. Good morning, Jake. We are in the finalization stages of the CMC and the preclinical module. Those will be the first that we will submit. There are some data points that are still being collected, and obviously the preparation itself and the finalization of the document is taking time. But those documents have already been reviewed by our external FDA consultants as a first step, and we are now preparing, first of all, the CSR and all the package for pre-NDA meeting, meaning that, and we would like to meet with the FDA before the end of this year for pre-NDA meeting to get an agreement while we are prior to submitting the NDA, and then early 2026, the first quarter, to submit the NDA. In parallel to that, obviously, we are in preparation for the GMP PLI review. This is something that is ongoing. The facility has been reviewed a couple of times already, both by the Israeli Ministry of Health and European QP, but still there is always the room to prepare further for an FDA review and get the facility ready for the commercialization stage. So if to summarize, we will be submitting in the next few weeks a pre-NDA meeting request, which we expect to occur later in the year, and early next year, Q1, we will submit the NDA.
Got it. Maybe just one on, can you talk about kind of the path forward for the GLP-1 program as far as when we might see some data there and kind of early stage plans in that program? And then just last for me, if we think about the Advance partnership, when should we expect some potential milestones from that kind of post data? Is that mainly going to be regulatory, or will there be anything that triggers from the data itself from the phase 3?
Sure. So for the GLP-1, which is a program that we're very excited, both because of the broader consequences of it, of having peptides that is released, injected in a form that supports an average of 60 or about 60 days of content and linear release, but also as this being a field with so much unmet need and patients that still do not benefit from the current medication, and endurance being quite harsh on these medications. So what we think is our main benefit from both the aspects that we can have a relatively longer than was out there drug, and also the aspect of avoiding the burst that is characterizing current regimen of treatment. In terms of the timeline, we are now going into more robust preclinical studies where what we would like to show is both this in PK to support the release profile that we see in cells, in PK studies in bloodstream. This is also, I think, very important for potential partners. And at this stage, we see these programs, the semaglutide, started with the GLP-1, but this could be extended, being pursued into the clinic with collaboration with one of the large players in this field.
And then just on the advanced partnership, Dikla?
Yes, thank you. Yes, or you want to know?
I just wanted some housekeeping because we're getting some messages that the line is not great. So please tell us if we need to repeat any pieces or anything that was said earlier.
So regarding the Sun partnership, we are in active and continuous. The partnership is active and continuous both through the clinical stage as well as now in preparation from the MAA submission. And as part of the relationship advance, will also be reviewing the MAA submission. And the question was, where should we expect milestones? So definitely there is a milestone that is expected. As the more than 3 years have passed since we've signed with Vans, both Advance and us think that there are some adjustments that needs to be assessed, and this is what we are doing now. I don't expect it to take too long. And once there is anything to announce around that we will obviously announce. But as I said before, we are very pleased with the relationship. I think there is a trust that has been built during the years and appreciation. And Advance are now starting to put more effort into the pre-launch activities. So both parties have an interest to finalize this as soon as possible.
Thank you, Dikla.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will take our next question. Please stand by. Please continue to stand by. Your conference will resume shortly. Your next question comes from the line of Roy Buchanan from Citizens. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Okay, great. Thanks. The line sounds much better now. I'm not sure if she's on the call or not, but I had a couple for Dr. Twizer Zaks. If so, is she here? Can you guys hear me?
Could you please repeat the question?
Oh, the line's bad again. Yeah, I'll try to repeat it. So if Dr. Twizer Zaks is on, I was going to ask, I guess the most compelling reason for joining the company as Chief Medical Officer, D-Plex 100 or the broader Plex platform, if you could just comment on that, and then what she's going to focus on, I guess, most intently for the next 12 to 24 months.
Sure. So, first of all, I think this is a really nice addition to our management team, and it's nice because Dr. Nurit Zaks was on our board for almost 2 years, so she knows the team intimately. She knows the programs intimately. She knows the good and the bad and everything. And still, obviously, she could choose also other positions, but she decided to join us, and we're very pleased. And I think she is going to be a great addition to the team. With regards to how we view the CMO position and what is going to be a role going forward, specifically looking at the coming 2 years or so. We are now in the position that we start to do some pre-launch activities, some pre-commercialization activities, as well as support all the regulatory efforts. We have a great phase 3 data that we want to have it all in front of as much surgeons as possible. Data will obviously would like to put it in the best peer-reviewed journal as part of the preparation, maintaining a robust clinical advisory board to support broadening the label as well as the launch activities. We have a pipeline, which is another point that we would like our assistant in directing. Our research team will always allow another doctors and quite experienced as she is to lead this program.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm getting feedback. Heading into the likely approval and launch next year, undoubtedly you'd like to bolster the balance sheet further. I guess, do you just have a preferred way, and maybe you've answered this with advanced response, but do you have a preferred way to do that, non-dilutive via partnering or something else? Can you just comment on that?
Sure. That we expect we'll get. What was the second portion of the question?
Just if you had a preferred way for bolstering the balance sheet beyond that, for the launch and all of those expensive things.
So as we said for quite some time, we are also looking to collaborate around that. So portion of obviously of the effort will be financed and taken by our partner. And in terms of other activities, again, we do rely on payments that we expect will be coming both from our existing partners as well as new partners.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will take our next question. The next question comes from the line of Brandon Folkes from H.C. Wainwright. Please go ahead. Your line is open. Brandon Folkes, your line is open. Please ask your question. We shall move to the next question. Please stand by. And the question comes from the line of Bublan Pashayapan from Roth Capital. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Okay, it looks like the line will be muted.
Please stand by. Please continue to stand by. Brandon Folkes from H.C. Wainwright, your line is open. Please ask your question. Unfortunately, we do seem to have some technical issues. Please continue to stand by. If I could ask participants to please press star 11 on their telephones if you wish to ask a question. Brandon Folks, your line is open. Please ask your question. Please continue to stand by. Your conference will resume shortly. Please continue to stand by. Your conference will resume shortly. Please continue to stand by. Your conference will resume shortly. Apologies, we do seem to be having technical issues. If I could hand back for closing remarks.
Truly apologizing for that. Thank you for joining PolyPid's second quarter 2025 earnings conference call. The second quarter of 2025 was a pivotal period for PolyPid. The positive SHIELD 2 phase 3 results represent a significant milestone in our journey to bring Duplex 100 to market. We are now focused on preparing our regulatory submissions, advancing our commercial preparations, and exploring partnership opportunities to maximize the value of Duplex 100. We are also excited about the progress we have made in extending our pipeline with the GLP-1 program, which leverages our extensive long-term experience to address significant unmet need in the treatment of metabolic disease. As always, we are grateful to our team members, shareholders, and all external partners for their commitment to our mission. We look forward to speaking with you again on our next conference call. And if anyone wants to further ask questions that were not asked on the call, please reach out to us.
This concludes today's conference call. Thank you for participating. You may now disconnect. Speakers, please stand by.